According to Heidemeyer and Staudinger, many developing countries are struggling with the problem of the aging population. This problem can affect the business environment on the national and global scale. In today's presentation, our group will try to answer the question: as some countries' populations start to age, how does this impact the global business environment? Each member of the group will discuss how business environment changes within a given country.
So how does aging population in Singapore affect the global business environment? Currently, the number of persons aged 65 years and above will escalate from 8.7% in 2008 to about 19% of our population in 2030. This is about a 100% increase in just 20 years. Also, in the year 2000, one elderly person was supported by 9.8 working persons, and this has decreased to 3.5 working persons in the year 2030. These are just some facts that highlights the seriousness of this issue in Singapore. In context of the business environment, firstly, we can look at the political front. Policies are set up by the government to increase intakes of immigrants to make up for the shrinking workforce, labour and skill shortages due to aging population. However, this led to unhappiness among the populace, which in turn led to the government downsizing the intake of foreigners. This leads to high costs for businesses as they can't employ many lower cost foreign talents. This can also potentially lead to a decline in skill and productivity level. Secondly, on the economic aspect, there is increased government spending on healthcare by means of subsidies for the elderly. This presents an opportunity cost of developing the business landscape. The fact that there will be lesser working people to support each elderly can affect workers' productivity level due to exhaustion. Thirdly, for the legal factors, Singapore raised re-employment age from 55 to 65 over the past 19 years, and in 2017, it was raised to 67. This can be a huge cost for businesses if they deem that older employees are less productive and more costly than younger employees. Lastly, on the social front, it can be difficult for businesses to integrate older employees into their working culture unless they are veterans in their own field. As such, there may be intangible costs attached to businesses in trying to integrate older employees into the workforce. By having older employees in the workforce, the global business environment can be affected, such as having an economy with lower output produce. This is because a lot of businesses base their Southeast Asia headquarters in Singapore for the safe business and political climate.
How has the UK's ageing population affected the global business environment? Firstly, 1 in 3 babies born in the UK in 2013 are expected to celebrate their 100th birthday, whereas only 1% of those born in 1908 live to 100. This shows the rapid ageing population that the UK is experiencing. I got my data from the Office for National Statistics in 2013. According to George Magnus, author and senior economic advisor at UBS Investment Bank, quoted in one of his talks that there will be a 61% increase in the number of over 65s in the UK by 2032. This not only shows the ageing population that we experience in today's society, but that of the future. So, how is the global business environment being affected? A social factor is that there is a proven decline in the fertility rate as women are choosing to have fewer children or children later in life in order to concentrate on their jobs. This links into the economical factor that children are becoming very expensive and an economic burden in society. According to research carried out by the Centre for Economic and Business Research, the average cost of raising a child in the UK in 2015 is £230,000. This ageing population has led to a lack of workforce, which as an effect has meant the increasing acceptance of migrant workers from the EU. However, these countries such as Poland and Romania are thus experiencing brain drain, where the loss of highly skilled and well-experienced individuals migrate to the UK in order to fill the gap in the workforce, earning more money than they would do in their home countries, along with the incentives the UK can give them. Some of the responses the UK have implemented is raising the age of retirement to 80. The increase in migration over the years, although increasing the migration over the years, although this may be affected due to the recent Brexit election, but nobody knows.
According to Japanese Ministry of Health, the life expectancy in 2011 was 79.4 years for men and 85.9 years for women. This makes Japan a country with one of the highest life expectancy in the world. Robert Clarks and Nahoru Ogawa stated that social changes will be necessary in the next 20 years as Japan attempts to adjust to the rapid aging of its population. Therefore, the fast-growing group of elderly dependents affects not only Japanese economy, but its culture and business environment as well. Due to the pressure on economy, many elderly workers loses their jobs, and as the article, the economic demands of aging populations lessened from Japan indicated, it means the end of the era of lifelong employment. Japanese companies employ more and more casual workers. This process diminishes the value of tradition and respect of elderly, which is an important part of the country's culture. Moreover, in November 2015, Shigeru Ishiba, Japanese Minister of Reinvigorating Local Regions, stated that he believes Japan should further promote policy measures to accept immigrants. This is a massive change in the country's policy towards migration. For many years, Japanese culture was strongly influenced by sakoku. Sakoku was a policy introduced by Tokugawa shogunate in 17th century that closed Japan from foreign influence. Nowadays, as Ishiba suggested, Japan is willing to accept migrants in order to solve problem caused by its aging population.
Italy's current population is 59.83 million people, with an average life expectancy of 82.94 years. Italy currently has one of the highest life expectancies, being the 14th in the world. Italy currently is the oldest country in the world. Italy has the highest proportion of people aged 60 and over, and the lowest share of people aged 15 or younger. Because of Italy's aging population, this will induce a decrease in the size of the working age population and therefore a decrease in the potential labour supply. According to the latest Italian population projects of the National Statistical Institute, the Italian labour force will decline from 38 million people to 33.4 million people. Italy's aging population also affects wage earnings. Because of the potential decrease in younger workers and a relative increase in older workers, there will be different wage caps, so younger workers will get paid less due to inexperience. This system will cause the younger generation of Italy to look elsewhere. A common problem in Italy is the youth of Italy are trained by the Italian government and then can't find work once qualified or trained, and they have to find work elsewhere, usually meaning going to find work abroad. Italy is attempting to raise the retirement age. This will increase the size of the workforce and increase the working age population. In Italy, most people retire before the official state pension age. By increasing the working age, this will allow more people to work in from a senior age. Italy is also looking into reasons to why the birth rate is so low. The Italian government is researching whether people can't simply afford to have children and is seeing if life in Italy is too expensive and if taxes are too high.
Ultimately, aging in population is a worldwide issue that affects mostly highly developed countries. The effects of this phenomenon can strongly influence global business environment. An example is an increase of migration. Nations like United Kingdom or Singapore try to attract migrants in order to fix the shortage of workforce. However, this affects not only UK or Singapore, but many less wealthy countries such as Poland or Romania, which are experiencing brain drain. Moreover, this can lead to increased tension between migrants and native population, which can result in a diplomatic conflict. Other countries, such as Japan, which for centuries tried to limit the inflow of immigrants, recently decided to open their borders for foreign workers. On the other hand, in many highly developed countries, for example Italy, the economy was badly affected by aging in population, which resulted in many young people living in Italy. In conclusion, aging in population can increase international migration in many different ways.
Retirement age. Italy's retirement age is 65 for men and 60 for women. England's retirement age is 65. Japan's retirement age is 55 to 60, and Singapore's retirement age is 62. All of these countries are aging populations, and of these countries the retirement ages are rising. This is because more people are above 15 years old, meaning there is need for work to be done, but there is mostly an older workforce. All of these countries pay more for an experienced worker, meaning younger workers are at a lower wage rate, as they are inexperienced. Especially within Singapore, Italy and Japan, the youth look abroad for work rather than jobs at home because of higher wages and even sometimes better working conditions.